A very good morning to one and all. This is Dr. Pranjit. Today we are going to see how the drought is monitored by the remote sensing technology. So the objective of this lecture is to know about how, because you know that agriculture is one of the uh, you have a agriculture dominated country. You are living in a agriculture dominated country. What the drought and the rainfall, flood is the more you can say the more important than the any other things because in and around 75% of the population in India is directly or indirectly uh, reliable on your rainfall and the pattern of rainfall, how the rainfall is started, how it's in. So this is how you have a drought and your what we can say the drought and flood. That is the more important to study. The system consists of three component. The system which is consist of three component: meteorological model, hydrological model, and remote sensing. Meteorological model, hydrological model, and remote sensing. This is a three different kind of system. We have three different kind of component which we use to study this fraud. Now, what kind of methods we have used? We use the different kind of models, indices. The indices which is having a different kind of wavelength, which is specifically used for the drought monitoring and assessment. So you have you know that the visible there is a different kind of spectrum. The remote sensing is used a different spectrum in which we have visible to near infrared, thermal infrared. So you have a different indexes that can be measured through the different kind of bands, different kind of spectral spectrum. So you have a visible to near infrared. So on the basis of this, you can calculate the NDVI, VCI, PMVCI. NDVI, you know that what is the NDVI. So uh, then you have a uh, different kind of vegetation index, then water index and all. So this is all TCI temperature. So you have a different kind of indices will you use for the drought monitoring. So, so what kind of data you have? Moody's data, and this one is used to monitor the drought. So pre-processing of geometric correction for this data, the cloud removal. So this all operation you have to do in order to assess the drought monitoring. So then the first index. Now we are going to see the VCI. What is the VCI? VCI is the vegetation uh, vegetation condition index. So what uh, any area which having a good rainfall or bad rainfall can be reflected by this their vegetation pattern. If there is a good amount of rainfall, their vegetation is good. If the rainfall is bad, so vegetation is not good. So there is a simply direct relationship between vegetation and the rainfall pattern of that particular area. So it's giving a very much help to know about what is the condition of that particular area in context of vegetation. So this is a formula which is used for the vegetation index, NDVI minus. So this is a formula, a specific formula which is given here in this in the upper side of your screen in this slide. So the maximum and minimum NDVI calculation, the maximum of all data sets. So this is how you can use the formula by you have know that raster calculator. You can use the raster calculator. In the raster calculator, you can have this formula used in the what we can say the for the calculation of vegetation condition index. So, so what kind of So this is the ND. Now you have maximum and NDVI minimum. NDVI maximum and NDVI minimum you have to use. So you have a NDVI, that is a normalized difference vegetation index. Normalized difference vegetation index. So this one is also a vegetation index which we use to know about the vegetation of that particular area. So for the calculation of the a long-term pattern of the area, you have the cloud removal or cloud channel. To remove a cloud is very necessary to have a good result. You have a TCI. You have a TCI. TCI is nothing but a temperature condition index. What is the temperature condition index? A TCI is a what we can say the surface temperature, a temperature condition of the particular area. So you know that temperature is also an important parameter for considering or monitoring a drought, or if there is a, a good amount of heat in the area or the humidity, and all these parameter can be used for the your drought assessment. Then you have a normalized difference water index, that is the NDWI. You have an NDVI and then you have NDWI. So NDWI, you can see the formula given here for the NDWI, what the data set you can use. So of any particular area, you have a satellite image of any particular area. You have to apply this formula, and by applying this formula, you can have a NDVI, NDWI dataset result. NDWI dataset result. So then you have a VHI. Uh, so VHI is considering vegetation condition of the surface temperature change simultaneously. So A, you know the VCI which we already calculated. Then you have a TCI. So addition of this VCI and the TCI and the weight coefficient of the this indices is known as the calculation of the VHI. Then you have a water holding capacity of the any region. How you can calculate the soil holding water capacity of the region? You can see this one. So this is how you can have a soil moisture. You can have a soil moisture. The study area, that is a Shansky data, and this all this used for the soil moisture data. So this is how you can use the soil moisture data of the any region for the TCI. So after this one, you need to actually ground data. You also need a ground data for the validation of these indexes. So you need a validation point for this all the indices, whatever the indices you have used for the calculation of the data for the whatever the data you have used. So now we will also going to see the what kind of research is going on in the field for the this drought monitoring. Whatever we see that is from the slide. Now we will going to see that one of the research paper was sending drought monitoring and assessment, remote sensing and modeling approach for the Femini early warning system network. So how the drought monitoring is going on in the hydrological modeling. So drought monitoring is an essential component. Drought modeling is an essential component of drought risk management. It is usually carried out using a drought indices indicator that are continuous function of rainfall and other hydrometeorological variable. This chapter presents a few examples of how remote sensing and hydrologic modeling technique are being used to generate a suite of drought monitoring indicator at decadal, monthly, seasonal, and annual time scale for several selected regions around the world. The what this chapter is all about, how the remote sensing and hydrological modeling technique are being used to generate a suite of drought monitoring indicator at decadal, monthly, seasonal, and annual time scale for a several selected regions. So the normalized difference vegetation index is being used to monitor vegetation condition of the area. So what the most important parameter which is used to know the area, how the area is going on? The normalized difference vegetation index. The normalized difference vegetation index is being used to monitor vegetation condition. The several satellite data product are combined using the agrohydrological model to produce a multiple short and long-term indicator of drought. All the data sets are being produced and updated in real in the near real time to provide information about the onset, progression, extent, and intensity of drought condition. The data and product produced are available for the download from the Femina of early warning system. So, uh, the early warning system for the drought, and this one is a very much important for the agriculture purpose and for the planning, and this all can be done when you have a early warning for this one. Means you, if you know about this one in a what we can say, the in a much advanced, you can do many more attempt to avoid loss, whether it's the proper loss and all. So the drought condition, the drought hazard monitoring approach, the drought hazard monitoring approach is so the availability of timely information and product support the decision making process in drought related hazard assessment, monitoring, and management with the FEWS net. The drought hazard monitoring approach perfected by the US Geological Survey for FEWS net through the integration of satellite data and hydrological modeling, which can form the basics for the similar decision support system. Drought is perhaps the most complex. The drought is perhaps the most complex and damaging natural hazard. It can recur frequently and cause considerable damage to agriculture, economy, and nature and property, potentially affecting the lives of large amount number of people. This is how you can have a drought and all this one drought which is having a most complex and damaging natural hazard. It is a most complex and damaging natural hazard. There is a four major type of drought. Four major type of drought are broadly defined and agree upon the scientific literature. The meteorological drought is caused by the lower than normal precipitation for prolonged period of time. Agriculture drought is caused when plant available water fills below the required limit, usually during the critical crop growth condition. So you have a different kind of drought. One is the meteorological drought, one is agriculture drought, hydrological drought, socio-economic drought, which is a different kind of drought having a different kind of causes behind this one. Different kind of drought, you have a different kind of reason or cause behind this one. How the meteorological drought is caused? By the lower than annual normal precipitation for a prolonged period of time. Means, for example, for India, the annual rainfall is between the 800 to 1000 degrees Celsius. For example, for Annam, annual temperature is 800 to 1000 degrees Celsius. Uh, then if there is a deficiency in the temperature for the year or 3 year or 2 year, that will be affected on an area, and that drought is called as a meteorological drought. That drought is called as a meteorological drought. Then you have a agriculture drought. Then you have a agriculture drought, which is caused when the plant available water falls below the drought, which is caused when a one or a combination of factors such as stream flow, soil moisture, groundwater, etc., are not available. And socio-economic drought is a cause when a loss occur in expected return, usually measured by the social economic indicator. In this chapter, we use a definition provided by Tucker and Chowdhury that define drought as a period of reduced plant growth in relation to the historical average caused by reduced precipitation. This definition is similar to the agriculture drought definition. So this is how you can use drought is defined by the several component in basis of several component. So satellite remote sensing is enable continuous dot monitoring over a variety of spatial temporal scale and can help to generate timely information on a drought onset, progress, and aerial extent. So what the satellite remote sensing enables? Satellite remote sensing is enables to continuous drought monitoring of drought. Continuous monitoring of drought is possible with the satellite remote sensing. So satellite remote sensing enable a continuous drought monitoring over a variety of spatial and temporal scale that can help to generate a timely information on drought onset, progress, and aerial extent. The component of agro-hydrological system relevant to the drought monitoring can be estimated or modeled from the satellite remote sensing data. That is, first one is rainfall, second one is the vegetation condition, third one is the soil moisture, fourth one is the groundwater, fifth one is the UV transpiration. So this is all are the parameter which can be used for the this drought monitoring and all. Then you have a rainfall and vegetation condition can be directly estimated from the satellite remote sensing data. Other parameters have been modeled using the agro-hydrological modeling approach. This is what you can have a different kind of you have a different indicator and different indexes. So that indicator is nothing but indexes. So you can see the resolution, short term, and how much spatial distribution, spatial area it can be covered, and what is the temporal resolution for this one. This all can be calculated by this table. So have first one is have a standardized precipitation index. Standardized precipitation index. So standardized precipitation index is only mostly based upon the precipitation index. Means this one is based on the rainfall based data. Whatever the rainfall of that particular region for a long time frame, what is the rainfall for the state, a different state or different this one country is having a different precipitation indexes. So rainfall, this is a rainfall based data. Then you have a 10 kilometer is the resolution. 10 kilometer is the resolution. So rainfall is not much of having a change in a 10 to 50 or 20 kilometer. It more or less the same one. So you can have this 10 kilometer of resolution is more than enough for your study. So in case of this one, the resolution scale is good. Then you have a start of the season, which is also a rainfall based method. A start of the season is, I think, so rainfall based station is given by the so this start of season, how when the season gets start is given by the agamate. Then rainfall anomalies. What is the rainfall anomalies? The rainfall anomalies are means what kind of changes, what kind of anomalous behavior of the rainfall in the data. What kind of anomalous behavior can be shown by the data in the your rainfall pattern. dryness indicator, dryness indicator. So rainfall based, this is also again a rainfall based data, and the resolution is 10 kilometer. Then you have a normalized difference vegetation index. You have a normalized difference vegetation index, NDVI. NDVI. So NDVI is used to calculate the vegetation index of the particular area, and you need a good amount of resolution. So you can go up to the 250 meter, and again the this one is showing a very what we can say the old paper, but the resolution is nowadays is very much in good resolution. Index, which is a hydrological model based, is a 10-kilometer resolution. Then you have soil water index. Then you have evapotranspiration and water level. So this is what you are all about the drought indexes which we use. Now the we see the first the one by one how the drought can be monitored. So since any drought condition is the manifestation of the reduced precipitation of depleted moisture content in the soil. So rainfall based drought indicator offer a direct and simple method to monitor onset, expansion, and intensity of drought situation. Because satellite rainfall produced product offer a precipitation data globally, it is convenient to use a rainfall-based indicator for drought monitoring over a national and international scale. Although several satellite-based precipitation data sets are available, one of the requirement for this drought assessment and monitoring. A rainfall product should be a high spatial resolution available in near real time with a reasonable accuracy. So rainfall is one of the more important, or we can say the having a more attention towards the rainfall data, because of what you can have a rainfall data of the area, and if the resolution is very poor, if your spatial and temporal resolution is very poor, then you are leading to a some not your result should not be a good if you are not using a high resolution data, because the rainfall and this all are the having a special inhomogeneity in the region, like in Delhi you have a different climate, and all together you have Uttarakhand different climate, and this all together. Then you have a Rajasthan, the temperature and the your rainfall is all together other one. This is how you have used this one. Then you have satellite rainfall estimation. Then you have a satellite rainfall estimation, which has been used by the FEWS net since the 1995 with the development of RFE algorithm. Although the absolute accuracy of satellite rainfall varies by the geographic location and algorithm sensor used. The combination of synoptic coverage of the large areas are consistently estimated had allowed the successful implementation of REA for the various agro-hydrological application, included drought monitoring. This is then the standard. This is a part of the this first 9.2, 9.21. Standardized precipitation index. Standardized precipitation index. The standardized precipitation index developed by Mackey, which is a valuable tool for the estimation of intensity and the duration of the drought. Duration of the drought. So the SPI product rainfall anomaly normalized variable that convey the, so SPI is nothing but a standardized precipitation index. This is a case study which is shown here. The standardize this one. So Africa-wide standardized precipitation index for the indicated accumulation period of. So this is how your map is prepared. Standardized indication map. The SPI can be produced. SPI can be produced for the difference accumulation period for the 10 kilometer resolution. The decadal or to 1 month SPI reflect. The 1 month to SPI reflect and application uh, can be released of closely to the soil moisture. So you have a SPI value that is greater than zero indicate the condition better than the median. So in this map you can see that there is a different kind of indices they are giving, values they are giving different kind of. Here you can see that if the SPI value is greater than zero, if the SPI value is greater than zero, then it indicate the condition that greater than the median. Condition showing that it's greater than the your median. Whereas the negative SPI value indicate the drier than the medium condition, drier than the medium condition. For drought analysis, an SPI less than 1.0 indicate that the observation is for drought analysis. An analysis uh, where the analysis is done, uh, you can have these results. Then you have a next index that is the start of season index. In addition to producing a SPI, one useful application of RE is to monitor the start of the season. So, in tropical region where the agriculture practices are strongly tied to arrival of the seasonal chain, the start of season is of rainfall has occurred in a given digs and the card. So you have followed by total at least 20 of rainfall during the following two consecutive decades. This information on the sky season. So this condition of die Sikat is what giving the SOS. The SOS anomaly produces a deviation of SOS from the average last 10 years. Although the early arrival of SOS not considered as a hazard, the late arrival of SOS for a 3 year more than signal is concerned. So example of SOS and SOS anomaly is shown in the figure. This one. So this is your monthly dryness indicator of Central Asia. Monthly indication. How the monthly uh, dry condition are there. Then you have vegetation indexes which is based on the drought monitoring. We have vegetation indexes which is based on the drought monitoring. Which generally uh, generally vegetation show a lagged response to a drought because of the delay vegetation response to the developing rainfall. Despite despite the what we can say the generally, vegetation show the lag response in drought because of the delayed vegetation response to developing rainfall due to the residual. Theoretically, vegetation response water stress happen to two. separate phases. First, vegetation and response and initial to the short-term temporary depletion of precipitation soil. So this is what the different kind of indexes we are using now. The this one index is a normalized difference vegetation index NDVI. One is you have NDWI which we see in last time. Then you have a normalized difference vegetation index. Normalized difference vegetation index, that is your first one. It's indices. So so the vegetation is constantly monitored by the for the condition, normalized condition, which is vegetation is constantly monitored for the condition of drought using the normalized difference vegetation, where the P represent the, this is the formula for the NDVI, NIR band, rate band. So these all are the definition. So a time series smoothing technique is developed by. So you have a NDVI, but you need to go and further processing this data. You have to further process this data. So you can see the drought monitoring using NDVI, a drought monitoring using the NDVI and its anomaly. A negative anomaly showing drought condition for a period of February 16 to 25. So this is how your drought monitoring is going on. This is how your drought monitoring going on. Then you have a water requirement satisfaction index. The water requirement satisfaction index, uh, the water requirement satisfaction index is an index developed by the Food and Agriculture Organization. Food and Agriculture, uh, Food and Agriculture Organization of the this United Nations in the 1980s to monitor seasonal, what we can say, the seasonal fluctuation and all. So WRIS is a index which is developed by Food and Agriculture of this one to monitor a seasonal crop performance. To monitor a seasonal crop performance, demonstrated for a period of this one. So that's why you can have this all type of indices can be used. Next, so this is a model water requirement satisfaction ratio data and anomaly data, right? So this is only for a southern Africa. This is all are the southern Africa. Then you have soil water indexes. Soil water indexes is a developed from the soil water indices is a, um, you can have a developed by the daily accounting of input rainfall and ET losses in a problem. In a control problem, so where the SV and the soil water for the particular Dhaka, that is, so you can see that this one is a soil water index. So this is a soil water index for maize crop situation in Africa. So I already tell you that uh, where is the this soil water index, how it calculated. Then the EVA transpiration ET, which we commonly call as the ET. ET is an important ED. Uh, so you have a UV transpiration, which is an important component for water cycle, and is component of the it is compound at the uh, so all atmosphere through the plant stomata. So this one is a taking a specific information for the UV transpiration scenario of the area, which is a one of the example for the, which is one of the example for the this evapotranspiration monitoring. So this is how your water level monitoring has been done. Then you have a hazard outlook. Then you have a hazard outlook. The food security analysis rely on a conversion of evidences to make the drought and food. To make a drought and food. So fuse and let food security analysis rely on a conversion or evidences to make drought and food security assemblage. So you can have this model can be only run through if you have this much of model in your study. This is a hazard outlook generated by the conversion of evidences using the FEWS net uh, drought indication, ND, NDVI, SWI, and ET. So these all are the hazard used for the hazard outlook. Then you have a validation of drought indication. Then you have a validation of drought indication. So uh, this is if you need to go if you need for the research purpose. So this data should be validated. This data should be validated by with the ground truth. Not all the point, but some point should be validated. Some point should be validated. Validation of WRSI and SWI product against the problem. So, what the summary is suggesting for this lecture, this chapter is present an example of how the remote sensing and hydrological modeling, how the remote sensing and hydrological modeling technique are being used by the FEWS. FEWS. So these all are the indices which we use. So now drought monitoring activity product generated by FEWS net. So you have a rainfall based, you have SPI, SOS, short term dynamics, and all. So all this parameter can be used for the drought assessment. The drought risk is an administrative level which can be approximated by the area of living around 400 square kilometer. So this is how you can have a drought monitoring and assessment using the different kind of satellite images and different kind of what we can say the so the drought risk is a administrative level which can be approximate by an so the decadal to the decadal to the subdecadal is having a scope in a drought monitoring. This is the reference area. This is a main objective of this paper is to summarize the operational practices that uses the combination of remotely sensed data and hydrology. The modeling for forecasting, or monitoring uh, can be go through the assess by the drought hazard, which the which is the worldwide. So you have a FUWS model, FUWS model. So the drought hazard monitoring approach perfect by the USGS and FUWS net through the integration of satellite data. Uh, that is so the, the The broad hazard monitoring approach performed by USGS through the integration of satellite data hydrological modeling can go form a basis for the similar decision support system at a national level for the producing reliable and useful information that is regional in a scope and the regional regional and a scope. So this is what your drought monitoring and assessment can be done for knowing the drought assessment of that particular area. So this is all about drought and this assessment, how the drought assessment has been carried out, what type of droughts are there, agriculture drought and man-made drought and meteorological drought and all. So this is what about this drought scenario for the assessment of the any other things. So hope you understand some concept of this one classification. May get uh, so this is how you can study the broad indexes and third hazard mapping, and so hazard mapping and all in this give the much more important than the other. So the this kind of study has been carried out in the our university. So this is a part of your syllabus for the second semester, geoinformatics in a geohazard. So you can have this question in your LMS bank. So this is how you can calculate and study this one.